Good morning. Tuesday, September 16th, maybe. All right, so today is another very beautiful day. Sun, blue sky, light wind. It's probably 75. You can see some of the trees are starting to turn over here a little bit. Down by the creek, they're starting to change some more. Today, we're going to put this on our Frontier OS23 sawmill. You can see this has a pretty big bend to it, but I think I'm going to cut it pretty much as is. I can use those bends for trail armoring. They don't need to be straight boards because there's enough of them. I just stack them all right in a row, so I save a lot of wood that I otherwise would have lost. I need to get it onto here with my couple of ramps. And I was thinking that just last night, it was my first attempt at using my log winch. And now on this bunk, I have drilled and tapped holes. I'm in the process of welding that bracket together, but I could use that bracket. I think it should all fit. Bolt it here and use the log winch and try to winch this up. Last time, the log's coming up here and the winch is way over there. I tried to do these things. So I think with the winch here, the log should be able to go up pretty much straight, and it's long enough to hit at least 2 bunks. That's the plan. So there's the winch. So our log kind of lined up where I want to go. I want to go on those 2 bunks, but the winch needs to be right here, and that's my next project, is to build a support underneath where I can put this right wherever I need it, which is usually more in the middle, and then I can easily slide it to the side so it doesn't interfere with this. So let's give it a try. So my goal was to get that bow like that, so I get the maximum amount of board. Cut flat slabs lengthwise. They'll have a curve to it, but that's okay. I'll just line up curves. All right, so here is our spark checker ignition diagnostic. So this engine starts like first pull when it's cold. Awesome. But once it stops, I have to like partially choke it and pull a bunch of times to get it to start again. So they say what to do is to put down there, and it should have a red low, a solid red low, which means that it found the wire. And then we're going to pull it, and it's gonna start, because it always does. Well, it usually does on the first pull. So let me set this up. Okay, so I cut that top board. I'm thinking I can use it as kind of a transition board because it is kind of straight, it has a nice edge to it. So we like to roll up onto the decking. So based on very deep furrows in the bark, this is the trunk of the tree, and I know that because I cut it down. Most ashes are very straight trunks with very small limbs. So I'm saying that this is probably not ash because it's not straight. I'm thinking based on the curve and the bark, it's going to be cottonwood. That's what I'm thinking. And based on how fast I was able to cut this log, 15-inch diameter log, that was ash. It takes a lot longer to get through it, so it's definitely not as hard as ash because it goes quicker, and that's not a brand new blade either, so probably cottonwood. All right, we got some logs cut. Take a look at that split on both ends. Halfway, I was sawing halfway through and it's split there. When I finished, it split the other end. Okay, so I'm sensing the blade is very dull. Things have slowed down. Cutting speed has slowed down. So instead of snapping the blade, I'm going to change it out. So in doing that, I turn my off switch here. This is my modification. So this would not turn off. My emergency switch wouldn't turn off, so something's wrong with the grounding. But since it's off, we hooked up our tester, and we can see that it's connected. So we're going to pull and see what happens. And the survey says, interesting, survey says, that it's high. Alright, try again. Alright, reset. And now it says okay. One more for the road. And now it says high again. Interesting. Alright, well, there's all that. Interesting. High. Okay, we got the blade changed. We need to start it, so let's test and see what the spark's looking like when we try to start it. Alright, so here we go. We got red, so that's good. We're gonna give it choke. Well, let's try it with no, like it was still hot, because it should be hot. This is, I don't know, it doesn't work. And let's give it a pull and see what happens. No start, and it says green. Reset. We're gonna go full choke. We got a green. We're gonna reset. Now this is about where it's one off of choke. Now what's all that? Something's misconstrued. That's funky. I wonder when to reset, huh? Overloaded the system. So it was a flashing green, which is good, spark, but I really needed to heave-ho, two hands on that pull cord. And I don't know what all that flashing stuff was. Well, snapped the blade. We didn't even get to the end of the cut. It's kind of shaking a little bit and just snaps. I'm not sure what the issue was. Let's open it up and change it again. Okay, second new blade today. one started shaking at the last couple inches too. So I just backed off, or I stopped, and did just a little inch at a time, and it finished. I do not know why it's shaking. The blade doesn't seem to have any bends in it. The other one had a couple bends. I don't know if that happened when it broke, or I'm not seeing any stress crack. He's sawing up. So what do we get? We got 1.5 inches thick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a top board. So we're gonna stack those. I think we're gonna have lunch first.